So I miss you guys. I have been for the last few days on that growing my mind kick that we talked about, where sometimes you just need to take some time, and I try to consistently do that because I know that I'm not game to have content spoon fed to me. Like, part of my whole kick is making sure that all of my content in my life and my self-understanding is content that I curate, knowledge that I seek out, and not what the common denominator is saying I need to believe. Like, that's not it. So last couple days I've been dissecting the Constitution and these amendments. I heard an interesting contention regarding the elections and all that turmoil and the COVID craze. And so I just wanted to tap in and look for accuracy or inaccuracy and a better understanding myself. You know, you have to do that. Don't allow people to spoon feed you information and you don't go verify it. Verify it, check it, get an understanding yourself. And what that does is make you a Renaissance personality of sorts, where you have feedback for any type of interaction you may come across. It's diversified. But today we're going to talk about goals. And we're talking about goals on a personal, professional, and spiritual level, because we can't expect people to want to integrate or like there be a merger with our brand if we don't have any goals set. Like, people won't even see how them being a part or aligning with you is worthwhile. So setting up some goals, and the goal can't be a significant other. When I first started out, I think I made like weekly 30-day, 90-day goals, but I'm up to now doing 20-year goals, like where I want to be in 20 years, so those things you have to be clear on for yourself, in order for you to align, identify, and execute. It's going to be really difficult to set a goal and follow through with it if you're not clearly identified how you're going to get there. So in the first Chronicle episode, if you remember, I said, we have to have, or maybe it was the second episode, you have to have goals and be aligned and be able to execute them, but through identifying accurately. So if I'm saying, because this is what society says is important to me, but that's not it, you're going to easily fall off the path. Easily. Boop. Off the path. So you want to be super clear and honest with yourself about what matters to you. I mean, for real, because like I said before, things where my great grandkids can eat off my productivity and my accomplishment, that's kind of like it. I'm kind of to the point where I don't even have it as a priority for me to see the fruit of my labor. I know that it'll be the next generation that sees the fruit of my labor. So, take the Rothschilds. Man, they got it. They got it. They got it as a foundational element, and they built it out and expanded it. But it was, hundreds of years and generations for them to perfect it, and what it would take for them to remain at the precipice. And nobody talks about it. We don't have a Rothschild example, in modern day Black America. We just don't. So we have to create those scenarios for ourselves. And again, don't take it at face value. You see? So what I'm telling you about them, go look that up. Go read that. It's worth noting. It's worth noting. And then the outcome. Understanding that the outcome of clear goal setting, personal, professional, spiritual, your mind, your intellect, and aligning, identifying, and executing is going to give you an effective consciousness, because you're going to be hyper aware to what you're willing to participate in, and hyper aware with who can align with you, and focus, because all of the propaganda that the media spews out, it's just a distraction. It really is. Like, I unplug. I have a period of 3 weeks where I won't watch the news. I have nothing for them, because I need to have a better understanding of myself, and I can't allow it to absorb me into it affecting what I'm willing to make happen. Like, the second wave is coming with the COVID craze, and then everybody races to the store. no, you should have been thinking 13 steps ahead of that and been conscious that, okay, it's November, we're in flu season, maybe the second wave is coming, so I need to act accordingly and prepare my household and prepare my resources. You know, people were in the street screaming, crying, playing, happy, you know, about Kamala and Joe. I mean, that's just another category of us excelling, but nobody can really tell me clearly what's been promised. I'm unclear on what the promise was. And I know regardless of the promise, because it's politics, I still have an obligation to produce myself. So, you know, don't really matter who's in office. It doesn't. So, knowing, being conscious, focusing the fuck in, and knowing who and what can mix with your brand. You know, because like we said, not for everybody. And that's okay. But why would somebody want to partner with you if you don't have the stability and the protection and you haven't afforded these things to yourself? You know, the good example that I always give, and I'm not saying that there aren't people who, you know, thrive off of saving others. You may get so lucky, but even that come with a cost. So making sure that you're affording these things to yourself so that somebody can see how they can integrate with you and be purposeful. You got to really figure that out, and honestly with yourself. Those are things that are non-negotiable that you have to do. You want to take the time, and it's a constant refining that's got to happen. Constant refining. Pick up a book. Even if you can't read the whole thing right now, just skip it through and read excerpts. You gotta redefine what it looks like. Spoon-fed content, digital, all this other stuff. Take back control of your thought process and your process of understanding and what information you allow in. I know that I have enough people around me daily that even with me not watching the news for 3 weeks, I'm still going to get updates. Or I might go seek up an update regarding something specific. But sitting and letting CNN and all these other outlets, you know, spoon feed me content is just not where it's at. It's not where it's at.